What's not?
Jesse, if you want, Ozzy Bobby is still davening outside. If you still want an outside minion, you need one.
Who? Rabbi Badner?
Badner's still davening outside. He still has a minion.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's still davening outside. Right. Yeah.
If you need one.
Okay, so, bottom of Chaf Amud Aleph. So the Gemara, the Mishnah said another thing that he heard, another thing that Rabbi Eloi had heard from Rabbi Eliezer, is that again we talked about the Eruv v'chatzeres. So in order to make an Eruv, everybody has to give in to some of the bread. But let's say one guy forgot to do it, right? Not a guest. A guest doesn't have to do it. The Eruv includes guests that are coming, etc., etc. We're talking about a guy who's a owner, a homeowner, right?
Customer. Let's see.
So he's a homeowner. Let's say somebody's a homeowner and he forgot. So what he said, Rabbi Eloi said, b'shem Rabbi Eliezer, is that they can carry, the people can carry from this from the person who didn't give any bread. They can carry from his house into his yard, from the yard into his house, but he can't. Right? Fine. So, but now we learned in the Mishnah, we have a Mishnah that says the opposite, that his house is also for him to carry in and out of. That's pashut. That's according to everybody. His house is also for to go in and out of for him. I'm sorry, it's pashut that he's not allowed to. But it says loy to him vilahen and to them too. So here you see a Mishnah that says the exact opposite. Now this sugi is another 50 block from now, 40 block from now, right? But that's a stira. Again, our Mishnah says that the others could carry in and out of his house, and the Mishnah later says that you can't. Amar Rav Huna b'rei Rav Yishua, Amar Rav Sheshes loy kasha, no kasha. Ha Rabbi Eliezer v'Rabbanon. One is Rabbi Eliezer, one's a Rabbanon. Meaning it's a Machlokes Tanoim, right? Rabbi Eliezer said it over Shem Rabbi Eliezer, and the Rabbanon said it. The Rabbanon held that they're not allowed to carry. So then the Gemara says, when a person, so what basically what you're supposed to do, right, in order for them to be able to other people to carry in and out of the person's house, even according to Rabbi Eliezer, what he has to do is he has to make his house hefker, right? Which I guess is a dangerous thing to do, depending on who's how nice your house is, right? But he's got to make his house hefker, and then
you're muted.
Oh, I'm on the.
Michael, I'm sorry, you're on liners. I'm like, why is he unmuted? I heard noise in the background.
No, sorry, my phone's got too much action going on, so I'm using Naftali's.
I got you. My bad.
I texted him. I texted you.
Yeah. So. So anyway, so they has to be mevatel, right? So he has to be mevatel rishus. So what? But there's two things to be mevatel: there's the house and the yard, right? So the Rebbe Eliezer mevatel rishus kishatim tzalim. We could find to say the Rebbe Eliezer, according to Rebbe Eliezer, mevatel rishus chatzei, right? If somebody's mevatel his chatzei, his yard, rishus beisay bittel, his house automatically goes along. Meaning he announces, okay, my house is open to everybody. But he didn't say, I'm sorry, he said my yard is open to everybody. He didn't say his house is open to everybody, right? But Rabbi Eliezer is saying the assumption is if he said his yard is open to everybody, then his house is too. The Rabbanon, if he's mevatel his rishus, he is not mevatel his house. So Gemara says pshita, meaning that's the machlokes, whether you're allowed to carry it in and out of the house. It's pshita. Targumina, we're going to explain it. Me and Rav Huna Bar China are going to explain this. You have 5 people that live in one chatzar, and one guy forgot. So 1 out of the 5 forgot. So according to Rabbi Eliezer, when he's being mevatel it, he doesn't have to go be mevatel his rishus. He doesn't go knock on everybody's door and say, on each of the other 4 guys' doors and say, by the way, I'm mevatel my rishus. Right? He just announces it, and then everybody goes along. Well, but according to the Rabbanon, he has to go knock on each door and tell each person that he's being mevatel it. So we're saying, so basically, what does that have to do with us? So we're saying that according to Rabbi Eliezer, we just assume if he's mevatel it to one, he's mevatel it to everybody. So the same thing here. If he's mevatel his yard, that means he's mevatel his house too. And the Rabbanan hold no, there's no assumptions. He has to, whatever he says, and that's it. No more than that. Fine. So then, Kiman knows Lahadatanya. So this exact case, 5 people living in a chutzner, one of them forgot to make the Eruv, to give the bread or the matzah, and he didn't make an Eruv. When he's mevatel his reshus, he does not need to be mevatel his reshus to each and every one. Kiman, so who is that like? That's obviously like Rabbi Eliezer. Rav Kahana Masni Hachi, Rav Tavimi Masni Rav Kahana said it this way, Rav Tavimi says it another way. Kiman Ozla, who does it go like? Hodatanya, Hey Shashuri and B'Chatzar Echad, the 5 are living in one Chatzar, B'Shokach Checham, and one of them forgot. Loi Eruv, and he didn't make the Eruv, because you mevatel reshus, and it's mevatel reshus l'chol echad ve'echad. He doesn't have to go knock on each and every person's door. Mevatel, one is enough. Kiman, who is that like? Amar Ravuna Bar Yehuda, Amar Rav Sheshes, Kiman Karev Eliezer. It's like Rav Eliezer. Okay. 2 different versions saying the same thing, so it seems like we have a Mishnah, Brisa, that goes like Rebbe Eliezer, that he doesn't have to. Yeah? Fine. So Amar Rebbe Eliezer, I Amar Loy Mevatlina. So now we do a little bit more lumdus. So again, Rebbe Eliezer holds, right? Rebbe Eliezer holds that whatever he says, you can just make assumptions based on what he said. And the Rabbanan say you can't make assumptions. Yeah, whatever he has to say specifically. So now what happens, according to Rebbe Eliezer, he says, I'm not being mevatel it. Yeah? And according to Rabbanan, he says,
so he's not part of the Eruv. So then
what?
He's not part of the Eruv, he can't carry.
No, so it means, no, just his house. His yard he's doing. He's just not doing his house. Meaning he says, I don't mind you guys hanging out in my yard on Shabbos. I don't need you in my house. Right? That's what he's saying. Yes, of course, you're right. He has to be mevatel something, right?
Isn't the Yechezkels saying that I have something in your place, in your place?
Correct,
place,
but
he
didn't participate in it. So the only way to get the oilam to be able to carry is if he's mevatel.
Okay.
Right? He has to be mevatel. Okay, this is more of a sugya later on, but that's so again, I Amar loy mevatlina. Let's say again, the Machlokes was Rebbe Eliezer says we assume when he's mevatel his yard, he's mevatel his house, everything is fine. The Rabbanan say no assumptions. So now he's asking, what happens if he specifically says he's not being mevatel his house? Do we listen to him or not? Right? Again, Rebbe Eliezer holds that you assume that he's being mevatel his house. Right? But let's say he specifically says that he's not. What are you saying?
Why should we assume that what he says is not what he means?
I mean, what's Pshat Rebbe Eliezer?
Yeah.
He's because why wouldn't he just include his house? Well, let's see the Gemara. Let's see the teretz of the Maskonos of Gemara.
As you just said, he doesn't want everybody in his house.
You were saying right, but we're going to see the Rebbe Eliezer is going to hold that the assumption is that people don't mind people being in the house. I guess they had a different way of living back then. Very hard for us to, yeah. So let's see. So again, let's say he specifically says, I'm not being mevatel the house. The opposite. According to Rabbanon, he says, I'm being mevatel my yard and my house. Right, so now what's the din? My time is the Rebbe Eliezer.
The second way, he says he's being mevatel.
1 second, let's see. My time is the Rebbe. Now the Gemara explains the question. My time is the Rebbe Eliezer. What's the reason called the Rebbe Eliezer? Mishum dikasavar. I'm mevatel reshus chatzerai, reshus beisai bittul. Right, if somebody says he's being mevatel his yard, he's also being mevatel his house. Bahai Omar, I'm not loy mevatlina. This guy said, I don't want to be mevatel. I don't know. Do we say time of the Rebbe Eliezer? Shem tebayis beloy chotzer loy of the inish to diary. A person will never live in a house without a chotzer. The chika Omar loy mevatlina lav kol kamina. And if he says I'm not being mevatel my house, he doesn't have any right to say that. Avagav da Omar daina lav klum kamer. He's what he said is meaningless. Meaning a yard without a house without a yard is worthless.
That's not, people live in
this is boss, so that's why Naftali's saying what I mean. Now this clearly does not apply nowadays. Back then, right? The way I read this also, even now, I don't know, it's now in Yerushalayim, I don't know, but in the early 1900s in Yerushalayim, most of the stuff was going on in the chutzner. Basically, your house was a bedroom, right, a room or two, and you ate in the chutzner, you did your laundry in the chutzner. A house without a chutzner back then was worthless. You wouldn't be able to function. So clearly, We're saying here that how can you say that one is batel, one's not batel? It's always a package deal. And even if he says it's not a package deal, it doesn't make any sense.
We don't have a chutzner around 4 feet, so clearly people in Brooklyn do not live that way anymore.
Yes, Shmuley. Yes. Shmuley, there's a lot of green grass out here, Shmuley.
We're looking. No, but there is most buildings here.
Shmuley, we have all types of grass out here, but okay, yeah.
No, but when you have 3 buildings
Oh,
together.
you stole my line. I was about to say that.
Okay.
One second, but there over here, you do have 3 buildings or 4 buildings together, and you do have a courtyard in the middle where everybody hangs out all shop.
Right, that's true. Okay, right. That's a good point. What about on Sukkot, right? Everybody alternates in the Sukkot. Right.
That's what yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, and a Chanami. So maybe Sukkot taka would apply even here. Would a guy ever be mevatel his sukkah, his yard, or without his house, or his house without his yard? It doesn't make sense. That's the tzad according to Rabbi Eliezer. Or the Rabbanon. What's the Rabbanon? Iyam or mevatelina. My time at the Rabbanon. Right? If he says he is mevatel his house, then what's the reason according to the Rabbanon? Mevatel rishus chatzere, rishus peisai loy pitel. If a guy's mevatel his yard, does not mean he's being mevatel his house. But hi, Amr mevatlina. This guy says he was mevatel it, so okay, so then it works. Oidilma, do we say time of the Rabbanon? The reason for the Rabbanon, mishum deloy avid inish to masalak nafshe legamri b'bayis v'chatzar. A person does not give away his house and his yard just like that. You don't mevatel everything. And then he becomes a guest in his own house, right? And when this guy's mevatel his house, it's public property, and he becomes like a guest in his own house, right? And if he says he is mevatel his house, Rabbanan say, no, you can't. Nobody's gonna do that. They'll be mevatel the yard, not the house. That Naftali said that. Yes, the Stein house over here is a shtickle rishus harabim, right? That was one of the stories of my father's because a guy from Yeshiva Rako, he came into the sukkah or something like that. He came into the sukkah and said, like, what are you doing here? Somebody said, oh, it's my house. My father answered, it's my house, or something like that. Like, you become a guest in your own house, right? You become a guest in your own house.
How all the girls are eating in like Yeshiva Rockaway's sukkah.
Right. No, that was with the construction guy, right? Construction guy came.
Yeah, he had to eat. He's like, oh, she's not Yeshiva Rockaway.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's called.
I'm kind of wondering, there's all these girls eating Yeshiva Rockaway's sukkah. It's a little strange.
Right. So that's basically, I guess he must have paskin like Rabbi Eliezer that everything is hefker. You know what I mean? Okay. But anyway, so that's the Gemara.
Well, I don't understand. What is the Gemara saying that it's not? You're not being mevatel. According to Rabbi Eliezer, you wouldn't. It's a package deal. You're losing out on the chutzner anyways. What do you mean you're not going to be mevatel? Because you can't use the chutzner either way. According to Rabbi Eliezer, the person who lives in the house
could. I
understand that, but the Gemara is saying, according to Rabbi Eliezer, as far as that, it's a package deal. You're going to get rid of both of them. You're not going to get rid of one because you can't live one without the other. But at the end of the day, you are living without the chutzner anyways, practically speaking. In this case,
just for Shabbos?
Yeah. But that's what we're talking about. You're giving up your rights for the Eruv chatzeres or for your house in terms of other people being able to use it. But what does that mean? You're obviously splitting the deal because you're able to use the house for Shabbos. You can't use the chutzner for Shabbos, practically speaking. What does it mean? It's a package deal. You already gave up the rights to the chutzner in terms of using it on Shabbos,
right?
Even though you're going to use your house. But
you're not gonna. Yeah. So what do you say?
So I don't understand this far. You literally are doing this. You're giving up your chutzner and you're using your house, and that's it.
Yeah. I hear you're saying that if it's only with the house, not. Yeah, but what I mean, if you can't you say that it's just his regular? What's his mentality about this thing?
But we're talking about Eruv Chatzeres. We're not talking about a mentality of you're not actually giving them rights to the house, right? You're giving them rights.
They come marching right in and out.
Relative to Eruv Chatzeres, we're not talking about normally. They don't own your house. Obviously, we're only talking.
Well, for Shabbos. So he's saying for Shabbos.
For Shabbos, you have rights to your house also, right? So obviously, you're splitting the rights for yourself.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like he looks at it like that.
Then how can you use your house for Shabbos? I don't understand what.
No, you're allowed to use your house, but you can't. You're allowed to use your house, but they could come on. They could come marching right in, and you can't say anything to them. Otherwise, you kill the whole layer of everybody.
but from inside yourself, you are giving up rights to one, and you're keeping the other. So I don't understand. The svara is not applying fair across the board. When it comes to the person himself, the chutzner he can't use, but the bayis he could. So he clearly is living one without the other.
Right. I hear. Okay. I don't. I think it's just a klaliistic thing, but okay.
But the klaliistic thing doesn't apply.
Yeah. Okay. I hear what you're saying. Okay, we just have to finish up before the oilam goes. So Amar Lei, so whatever, that was the shaila. So Amar Lei, Bein l'Rabbanan, Bein l'Rabbi, keeping the gully, daite gully, right? I think that's the teretz that most of us would say should be, right? Which I don't know if that makes it better or worse, but that's right. The teretz is that whatever the guy's megala his das, whatever he decides to, whatever he says out, he says out. You can't say that a guy decides to give away his house for Shabbos, he gives away his house. His yard. Doesn't give away. You don't start making assumptions based on what he really means. If he said it, he said it.
One only?
Right? Basically, is you signed the paper, even if you didn't read it. You signed that, right? Peretz, like you said with the slichas. Say it over Shema. Peretz says he wants to make an app for slichas. Right? What do you want to do, Peretz? Scroll, what's it called? End user agreement. Just sign and say, I agree. And that's it.
Scroll down, agree, you're done.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
For slichos or hataras nadarim?
Both.
Well, everything.
All of the above. All of the above.
Even including Schleifer.
Anyways, you agree. So here too, the guy said his house is bottle, it's bottle. His house is not bottle, it's not bottle. Fine.
But could he get away with only doing one?
He can, yes, he can, yeah. He's got to do the chotzer for sure. Right? He's got to do the chotzer for sure, right? Yeah. Then the last thing he heard from Rabbi Eliezer is that sheyotzim ba'akrablim Pesach, you can be yotzim from this akrablim on marror. Maya krablin, Amar Reish Lakish, atzvasa charuziyasa. It's like the stuff around the tree that got twisted. That's what Rashi says. It looks like a lulav of kafanim, of grape, some sort of grapevine, and that would work for marror. Okay, hadron lachais and pasin. Next couple of prakim is Eruv tchumen. So we totally changed subjects. I took a video today of the karfefs. What's going on by the karfefs? I'll post it probably.
When are we going on a trip?
I don't know. I don't know.
What time tomorrow night?
Maybe Sunday morning.
Find out from the oilam. Whatever the oilam wants. Sunday morning, Monday morning, and the oilam's working. Labor Day.
Well, hold on. What's everybody's morning? We have to first take that. Everybody has a different definition of morning. You know what I mean?
Parrots, we're not chayshid. Do not chayshid. Morning is going to be early.
Parrots, we'll let you dominate the 9 o'clock menu.
By the way, we can make a meeting afterwards.
Matzah Shabbos. Let's do Matzah Shabbos 8:45. Yeah, 8:45.
Yes. 8:30 Shabbos is over.
Shabbos is over 8:30. So
what time's mine?
Marror will be at 7:18, 7:09, 7:20.
Why don't we still stick to the regular time now?
7:20.
I hear, because Gershon, what time is Shabbos over by you? Frozen.
Okay, Marror's not going to be at 7:20, maybe 8:20. Do 50
8:20, dude, so 8:45.
50 or 60 here?
60.
Okay, so 8:45?
Hey, Naftali, you're the man.
8:45-ish. 8:53. Gershon, all right, by the time we get rolling, you'll...
9 o'clock. Just do 9 o'clock.
Yeah, mine's 9:15.
I'm just afraid that... What do you say? We should do 9 o'clock?
Quarter to 9.
No, just
Jacob, according to 9, we can make the 9:30 movie, no?
That's what I'm worried about. Yeah.
Reb Aaron have tickets.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm using his senior citizen.
Can we go back to 9:15?
I'm taking you in as a guest.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Like this tomorrow. Take
Why
you
you
in
leaving?
as a guest.
Good Shabbos.
Can we do the 9:15?
9:15?
Yeah, like normal rest of the week.
We already
we're gonna
voted
have to
9
figure
o'clock
that
rest
out.
of the week.
You're right. We're gonna have to figure. Well, 9. The rest of the week is 9 o'clock now. So that's
Come on, you guys are killing me here.
What time is Shabbos
like
over
you do
by
anything in the
9:10.
south, north.
So I have an
Midwest.
idea, Simon. Why don't you just leave your Zoom on now till tomorrow night?
Oh, can we do that for Yontif now?
I don't know.
We have to see how bad Corona gets.
That's right. You're gonna put a
Is that
mask
what you
on.
can
You
make
put a
cheer at
mask
5
on your
o'clock?
screen.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm going to put the mask on.
All right. Have a good Shabbos, everyone.
So
All right. Good Shabbos.
Yaakov.
Have a good Shabbos.
Shabbos. What, Peretz?
The tape that I put on melted right off.
What are you talking about?
I put a tape over the oven, the pop out of the oven that shows the oven is off and what's it called?
Yeah.
It melted the glue right off. I'm gonna be samech on your heter.
Okay. Why didn't you call Star K?
I didn't get through. I didn't because I got a phone call afterwards. I should have.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see the problem.